What is going on YouTube? This is Asteroid. So in this particular episode, this will be part 3 of Metal Gear Solid, the VR mission. So really not terrible much progress is made in this particular one, but it's just because of the concept that a lot of these are more persnickety type traps here as far as these pitches can happen. So it makes me question some of the things that are going to be cranked into this game later on as far as this is going to happen. Now, I'm definitely enticed about this game, I'll say. It definitely has the fun factor pretty high, but it's just within the pitch that the difficulty is there within the immediate factor. I know some folks would say, is it really? I mean, for, when you have more station gamers, folks that can beat like the Contra and Castlevania games, this is not too bad about it, but it's just kind of within the pitch as far as saying that there is like a ramp about this that you just have to be able to contend with within the aspect. I mean, really, this mission, for example, this is more the concept of just a little bit more common sense in mind, but it's just within the pitch as far as saying that it is kind of the concept, if you don't full bound understand the game, just within the pitches behind it, that it does have some trip ups in there as far as what's going to happen with this. I was thinking that you had to crawl here, but it's just the fact that you just don't need to have your footprints get caught as far as this pitch is going to happen. So but yeah, these guards are doofy, but then they're actually not that doofy. They're kind of smart dumb. Like when you think of like Cat Williams or someone like that talking about smart dumb fellows as far as this pitch is going to happen, they're stupid, they're idiots, but they're kind of not in the same fashion. Just kind of the concept that the AI for this game or the concept behind it is actually not as dumb. I mean, it's supposed to be funny, I would think, within the relative aspect behind it, but it's still within the fashion as far as saying that this game is not like, like a dunce of a game, I'd say. It's just kind of the concept, but that's what you have to pay attention to. So this mission is full bound. It's not as much of an annoyance, but this next one I just wasn't able to figure out what to do, and that's kind of the pitch behind it. So the vocals are good. The commentary on this particular episode is going to sound a little bit different. For some reason, my computer will not pick up my headset as far as this pitch is going to go. So I'm talking through the speakers of the computer, which I have a camera on my desktop computer, and it also picks up sound. So luckily, if I didn't have that, I may not be able to do these episodes. But it's just kind of within the pitch as far as saying that. The unfortunate thing is the old style, the way I did like episodes 1 and 2. For some reason, the computer, I don't know what's happened with my computer, but it just doesn't pick up the headset as much. I mean, my cat kind of got tangled in like the headphone jack as far as this pitch kind of went, and when she jerked to get away from it, it kind of damaged it. This happened the cat was okay, of course, luckily, the pitch behind it was just the concept that the computer wasn't as much. So it's just kind of the concepts of this kind of thing, but it's kind of happened. So as a result, you get kind of more looming and a little bit more gas type vocals on here within the pitch. But so yeah, the basic concept, this mission is not as tough as I thought it was. It did have me fooled in this particular episode, but by the time we get to episode 4, I should be able to knock out this particular one, and we'll start getting to sneaky mission 12 and some of those type ones. But you basically, I was thinking that you just couldn't walk on those particular booby traps at all, but it's just the pitch that you just have to be quick. For some reason, I thought that it was weight sensitive, so you just were supposed to crawl on them, so you weren't supposed to activate like the concept, but you're really just supposed to, I don't know, I wasn't paying attention. My other cat came in the room when the mission briefing was kind of coming up, so I didn't catch like the description of what to do. It may have actually said that you just have to be quick on those, but it's kind of the concept. I wasn't paying attention when it came up in the LP either, because I was talking about this, but just kind of within the depiction. So I was kind of doing this the tougher way as far as those aspects kind of went. And there's actually a much easier way. You're just supposed to run across the booby traps. And it's the same thing here with this next pattern. It's just being able to say that you actually run across here. But it's kind of the fair side. I sense that these will probably come up more often. It just makes me question as to how that's particularly going to go. It's kind of within the fair of that conduct behind it. But yeah, this is fun stuff here. This is probably one of my more throwing. This actually has kept my attention as far as those pitches kind of went. Like, I do find myself wanting to complete this game as long as it doesn't get impossibly hard. The thing about the Metal Gear Solid series is it's not, like, actually that difficult, but it's just kind of the concept that it might be. I'm just not sure. I'm not going to spoil it. Like, I don't want to, I want this to kind of be a blind run, so it has a little bit more of, the factor of just, actual authenticity as far as not knowing what to do, but I look after it. because what's going to happen for most of these episodes, I'll at least play through it blind first, and then I'll have to look it up when eventually I just am not getting anywhere. Because I probably, if I would not have done it that way, I don't know how long it would have taken me to have figured it out. Because episode 4 could have probably been just like this one, where it just would have been the same fail over and over and over, and I don't know if I would have ever figured it out. So I think at least one episode of being fooled and kind of tricked is sufficient as far as those fairs going to happen. I just think that's probably enough for like the conduct of it, especially across. Because I was almost tempted to play this for like another 3.5 or 5.5 minutes, something like that. But I just think, because probably this LP is going to stretch on for like probably 25 or even 35, 40 parts as far as this bitch going to go. But it's kind of happens to be the thing behind it. But yeah, just standard fare as far as those pitches going to happen. Just standard kind of frosty February, some of those type pitches. Just would have to say, just looking after it, just some of that standard nest, just getting towards it. I think I said this, and I don't know if I said this in part 2 of Metal Gear Solid, of this playthrough that I was doing, but I said that I did find another PlayStation game that I'm eventually going to do. It's not going to pop up anytime soon, like March, April, May, June, something like that, but it will eventually kind of happen as far as those fairs going to happen, just within the concept. I'm just starting to find a lot more of these PlayStation games, but this is the concept. For some reason, PlayStation games are tougher than Super Nintendo games. I don't know what it is, despite the fact that they have more kind of contemporary feels about them. They're a little bit more recent and modern. The problem with it is some of these games really get tough. Like Jackie Chan, I'm still kind of like, fuck that game. I would like to revive that playthrough and actually be able to beat that game, but it is, some of the mechanics of that game are just not as affable. And it's the same thing with like, I realized that back in like the Super Nintendo games, the 80s Nintendo days, if you couldn't beat those games, it was just like whatever. I mean, you had a password function if you really couldn't do it, but if it didn't have a password, it's like you either beat those games or you had a game genius as far as those pitches going to go. But these at least have some ones within those fair, but it's just kind of within the concept as far as saying. So yeah, once again, I thought that you had to crawl on those, but that's the exact opposite of what you have to do. Just to say, once again, you have to just be quick. You have to run real fast to get past those, and then not only that, but you have to run past the guard that's on the other side of those traps. So it's just kind of the concept there, but it shouldn't be that difficult. I think we'll probably be at mission 12 or 13 or even further by the next episode, but I'm just going to aim for these. Not all of these are going to be like 13, 14, 15 minutes, I would have to say. I'm just kind of within the concept as far as me saying that it's kind of within the pitch behind it that some of these are going to be like 9 minutes. I want to keep the addictive quality about these particular episodes kind of going. Some of these is kind of keeping you on your toes. It's similar to how the Super Mario World playthrough kind of goes. I mean, it's going to be, there will be progress, but then there may not be. You know, with the recent Super Mario World episode I did, really I only completed one stage, and then most of it was just going back to the save point and saving that way. That's the same sort of stuff that's going to happen. There may be some episodes in there that are really only one level, like this one. And I realize, yeah, this is the concept. There's still 89 more, including this one, there's 89 and a half more missions to kind of get through. So just considering that we're in episode 3, and we're only at mission 11, we're a little bit over a tenth the way done with the game. It's kind of the concept is saying that multiplying this by 9, you know, just saying it probably 9 times 27, probably be like 54 parts. I don't know, it may be, I mean, this could wind up being my bulkiest playthrough apart from Final Fantasy VII. Which I realize if I ever decided to complete Final Fantasy VII, that would probably be like a 50, 100 something odd episode. I don't know if I'll ever get to it nowadays, but it's within the concept that this may be over 40 or even 50 parts, depending upon, I mean, some of the earlier episodes when I got like 5 or 6 of these done in an episode were kind of one thing. That's just kind of the thing there. So we'll figure it out, but so understand that's the pitch here. So episode 4 is eventually coming soon enough, I'd have to say. I was trying to figure it out here just in the pitch behind it. But subscribe for more fun. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful night and stick with this playlist, folks. Definitely.